Capcom versus SNK2 EO from Capcom for Xbox. And
E-I-E-I-O.
the big story here is that it's playable on Xbox Live, and I know Tommy has been waiting for years for this game. What'd you think, man?
Wrong, sir. This game looks and plays exactly like Street Fighter did on the Super Nintendo 15 years ago. I'm completely against this game. I'll tell you that right now from the start.
See,
because
I love this game.
You love this game because you're a hardcore gamer.
I love
and
this
you like
game.
This two-frame animation fighting baloney.
I love the Capcom fighters, but
Yeah,
I
well.
love the SNK fighters even more. And SNK, as we all know, has gone out of business, so there aren't going to be tons.
I wonder why.
There aren't going to be
because
tons.
they never updated any of their game or their graphics.
Yeah, but they didn't have to, man. They came out with some wicked stuff.
Give me something new. Give me
got
the
all the
characters
moves.
gotta look better.
They have 44 characters in this game, and all of them are slightly different. They've all got their own sort of style.
I'll give you this. The way the game's set up,
yes,
how you pick 3 teammates and all this stuff, the way they set it up is great. They have all these great modes.
You like the gameplay, right?
Not the gameplay, no. The way
you don't like the gameplay?
No, it's horrible.
The gameplay's fun. It's a fun fighting game.
It's a button mashing fighting game.
It is not. There's tons and tons of technique in this game.
It was fun 15 years ago.
It's still fun,
and it's
loaded with great characters that are still fun to play. You're absolutely wrong.
I know all the hardcore gamers out there going, we don't like Tommy. He doesn't not a gamer. You know what I gotta say to you? I don't care what you think because this game is way too old.
If you're a fan of these kinds of games,
2-frame animations.
I don't care about that.
2-frame.
The action is great. There's more than 2 frames of animation.
And let me ask you another question.
And the backgrounds are deadly, man.
How could you do? Oh, the background's not deadly. The backgrounds are 3D.
You didn't like.
So you're used to seeing these pancake 2D.
You didn't like the rally racing level? You didn't like the rally racing level with the rally cars jumping over the sand dunes?
I've seen better graphics.
And you're still Of course you have.
Of course
We're not talking graphics here. This isn't all that this game is about. There's tons of gameplay. There's tons of replay. And if you give it some time, you're going to find a lot of stuff to love in this game.
If you love this game, I'm telling you right up front, don't listen to anything I'm saying right now.
And you can pretty much put a bumper sticker on that. Don't ever listen to what he's got to say, okay?
But
all right.
if you're a normal, average, everyday game player,
right,
there's no reason to get this game.
I love the fact that you can play this thing on Xbox Live. I mean, that's the way I play this game. But there is one thing that bugs me about it. There's all these fighters that you get to choose from. You have 3 different characters that you can choose from. And every time one of your characters gets beaten up and you're switching to another one, it goes to a loading screen and you can't talk to your opponent at that time.
I'm sorry for all you hardcore anime fans. I'm giving it a 4.5.
4.5. You are brutal, man.
I'm sorry.
You are brutal.
I'm
9 out of 10. This is a great game. Awesome Xbox game. On the positive side, this game is loaded with lots of features and tons of ways to play. There are 44 different characters to play with. And most importantly, you can play this game on Xbox Live. Awesome.
On the negative side, the character graphics in this game look about 15 years old. If you do not like 2D fast action fighting button mashing games, you're definitely not gonna like this one. And if you're an Xbox Live user, you can't talk to people in between fights. Bit of a bummer.
Actors, would you like to see more than any other 2 actors have a game of tennis?
Tennis?
Yes, well, because we're on a court here.
Mila Jovovich and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Good choices.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones go for a little...
Why?
Let's talk about Men in Black 2 for the PlayStation 2. What'd you think of this one?
This game is getting the lowest score I have ever given a game in over 600 games, 7 years. This is the game. So what do you think of that intro?
Should we just go to commercial now?
No.
Is that it? Is that the end of the review?
No, because the fun is about to begin. First of all, let's start out with the actual characters themselves.
Right.
Like you said, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. If you're going to do a game based on Men in Black 2, at least get the guys to look like who you're trying to do the story about.
It could have been just a cost issue. They could have said, you know, to get those 2 guys, it's going to cost us a whole bunch of money.
If you can't afford to license a character's face, fine, I understand that.
Right.
But you can at least give them the same body structure and facial hair.
The thing that really bugged me is the voices of these characters are completely dissimilar.
I'll deal with this. Guess I'll just stay here and look after the megaphone.
Now, the other thing, though, is that if you're going to do a movie license based on Men in Black 2, Wouldn't you at least have the common decency to people out there to maybe even remotely have something to do with the movie Men in Black 2?
Well, this is a common theme in the video game business. The developers sort of get handed a license and they have to go off on their own tangent and create their own story. And
they don't have to, though. They could have followed the movie to some extent.
A lot of times the licensing agreements don't allow for that, and it's kind of a shame because...
Why you're sticking up for this game?
I'm not sticking up for the game. I wanted to play the movie.
Right.
I was disappointed not to see the story and the characters from the movie in this game.
You're the best team I've got, so I'm relying on you to deal with it.
It's okay. You ready to kick some alien butt?
Born ready, Slick.
There's some nice special effects with aliens sort of popping up in this little translucent effect, and then if you blast them, they go up in little particles, and that's kind of cool. One thing I did like is there's an alien registry where you can sort of look at all of the aliens, and they give you a little sort of blurb about them.
Sometimes people can't play first-person shooters or something because it makes them nauseous and makes them sick, right?
Yeah.
I've been playing video games my whole life. I've never had this problem until I played this game. I absolutely wanted to vomit, and not just because it's a horrible game, but there is the turnaround
button, yes.
It's completely useless. You push the button, and then you just turn around 180.
The worst part is, if you die anywhere within this level, there's only 5 levels, by the way.
Oh, yeah, did we mention that?
But they're very long, but it's been artificially lengthened by countless waves of aliens. If you happen to die, guess what? You got to start all over again. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
What, a 3?
Only because...
A 3?
I liked the alien exploding.
So what? That doesn't deserve a 3.
And I liked all the weapon effects.
This game is getting the lowest score I've ever given a game ever in the history of the show. A 0.5. 0.5.
On the positive side, we both like the way the aliens blew up into tiny particles. We like the cool, flashy weapon effects, and I kind of dug the alien encyclopedia section.
Okay, on the negative side, get ready. The audio is terrible. The graphics are horrible. They don't look like the characters at all. You have this stupid turnaround button, which is useless. You get sick. You want to throw up watching the game. The storyline doesn't follow the movie at all. The enemies are there's no jumping.
All right, okay, man. That's good. People get it. It's not very fun. All right, the first game we're talking about today is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He's got his golden ticket t-shirt, which is great. This is, of course, based on the Tim Burton Johnny Depp movie. And the game's out on all the platforms. We looked at it on the GameCube. What'd you think of the Charlie?
I hated this movie. I gotta tell you,
all right,
Tim
you get
Burton,
10 seconds to talk about the movie, and then we're talking about the game.
Tim Burton murdered this film just like he did with Planet of the Apes. It's a disgrace. Everyone who loves the original Willy Wonka is gonna hate this movie.
All right. Time's up. Okay, what'd you think about the game?
The game I loved.
You loved the game?
I actually
surprisingly hated the flick.
I'll tell you what I loved about it. First of all, the music and the sound really draws you in.
The music was unbelievable.
Can I tell you that I liked the music in the game better than the Danny Elfman boring score that we've heard a million times
before?
It was
Winifred Phillips is the composer, and she actually does some of the choral voices in the game, and it really evokes, I think, some of the best stuff that Danny Elfman has done, but I would tend to agree with you that Danny
Better than Danny Elfman. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a lot about the music, so that's very important.
Yes.
But here's the thing. The game itself is kind of like a cross between Myst and like a platform game.
Well, I think it's closer to like a Zelda Pikmin type hybrid because you're controlling
a little Pikmin in there for sure.
The Oompa Loompas,
little lemmings,
having some of them weld little things together.
You can basically collect Oompa Loompas. You can go around, you can meet an Oompa Loompa, and you can get the little guy to follow you around and then work for you or to stay put.
But they have
different Oompa Loompas do different things.
I thought all of that was great, but there's some serious pathfinding issues. There's some serious AI problems. I mean, the Oompa Loompas will get stuck in a run cycle. They're up against a tree and they can't go anywhere.
I never saw that.
It drove me incredibly insane. And then I found that the other stuff that I was collecting, all these little, rainbow-colored globs and gloops of candies,
everlasting gobstopper.
You can't tell
you
what
can
the
suck
difference.
them and suck them, and they'll never get smaller.
That's nice, but you can't tell.
And the snozberries tasted like snozberries.
That's fantastic. But everything looks exactly the same. It's just some colored, glowing orb of nothing. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was collecting half the time.
I loved the cinematics. They drew me in. Even though I hated the movie,
Yeah.
I loved the whole Willy
The character
Wonka
design was pretty good.
universe.
You like
what
the
they
environments?
did great.
They were so lame.
They were
looking.
okay.
They were lame. They don't look
weren't
like
lame.
the colorful stuff that we see around here in the film.
Now, I really love this game, but I'll tell you, my biggest problem is that you can't change the horizontal or vertical, inverted
And
look.
I'll tell you something.
So
you have to control the camera the entire time through the game because the default camera gets stuck. It's always slow.
you're way
it's
too.
ridiculously
You're getting a little
lame.
too technical.
No,
come on now.
No, I'm serious.
This game's fun. I love
because
this
it fell
game.
apart,
Are you
man.
kidding me? The thing is that they.
I couldn't tell what I was supposed to do half the time.
Well,
the
that's 'cause
objectives
you
aren't
didn't-
clearly
you-
spelled out for you.
You
It's
obviously
supposed
were
to be
clicking through the
something
cinematics.
for kids, and
It's
I was
not
confused.
something for kids.
It's
Willy
supposed to be
Wonka is not
something
something for kids.
Yes, seriously.
No, you're wrong.
You sound
You get
like a kid.
nothing.
All right.
Good day, sir.
So what did you think overall? What are you going to give this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game?
I love Willy Wonka. I am giving this game a 9.
You're giving Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a 9 out of 10.
I loved this game.
You have lost your mind. I cannot believe it. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's an average game at best.
I think this has got to be the biggest gap for me giving a high score and you giving a low score.
A 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I loved it that
You've
much.
been
It was
drinking too
so
much out of the chocolate
different.
river here, man.
I don't know.
That's crazy. You've lost your brain.
On the positive side, the music, audio, and cinematic storytelling was really well done. I love the uniqueness of the different gameplay styles they combined. And I guess I'm just a sucker for the whole Willy Wonka universe.
On the negative side, I haven't been brainwashed by too much chocolate like Tommy has. I had some issues with the camera, and although I liked the character design, I thought the environments were really bland in this game. All right, we're back. Tommy stopped drooling over the Spider-Man controller. We're going to talk about High Heat Baseball 2003 for the PC. What'd you think of this one?
Well, remember earlier how I said that MIB2 was the worst game I've ever reviewed?
I don't think anyone's forgotten that.
Okay, well, guess what? High Heat Baseball 2003 is officially the worst game in existence. The players don't look anything like any of the players. You should be ashamed of yourself. The stadiums are absolutely horrible. Yankee Stadium.
You didn't like the fans?
Looks nothing. The fans in this game, there are no fans. It's literally just one stupid round colored texture map.
All right, here's the deal with High Heat Baseball 2003. High Heat.
If you defend this, I'm going to kick
No,
you right
listen,
in the ding-ding.
I want to tell you, I want to explain the situation here. High Heat Baseball has always been the statistician's baseball game.
I disagree.
This combines that with also a graphical, playable rendition of the sport.
Playable?
This game has always held that sort of distinction, separate from like the All-Star Baseball, the World Series, and the triple plays out there. It has some nice features in there that baseball fans are going to love, but really when you get into the game, it's just not a good playing baseball game.
They even go as far as in the menu screens to say, do you want the teams from the end of 2001 or the beginning of 2002? Well, guess what, 3DO? Maybe you should do a little checking and backstack checking of your own before you dare put a thing like this in the game. For example, Alfonso Soriano is number 33 last year.
Right.
This year, he's number 12.
Okay.
Okay? How come he's got number 33 on his back if they've supposedly updated everything to the beginning of the 2002 season? None of the players' animations look like they do in the real field. Every single baseball game now, when you pick Roger Clemens or you pick Derek Jeter or whoever, they stand like them, they react like them, they do all this stuff. This has none of that whatsoever. One of the biggest things about this game is that the audio.
Oh, yeah, the audio is horrible.
No bad. The center.
Garrett Anderson. There's a big Placido Polanco is up.
I was checking our settings on our sound card going, this possibly can't be the sound for this game, and it is. Is hyper-realistic TV-like players and environments? Lie. Stunning graphics absorb you in the MLB experience? Lie. This game is ridiculous. Avoid at all costs.
To me, this is really half a game. I mean, it is maybe the engine of a good game, but let's finish the job. Let's spend the money on the art. Let's get the cool intros. Let's get the good music.
Hey, I like Trip Hawkins. I like 3DO. I hope they can do a better job. They obviously can't do a worse one. This game gets a 0.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Way too high.
This game has the most detailed stats engine you can find in an action-oriented baseball game, and you can get online on GameSpy Arcade and play with other players.
On the negative side, pretty much every single thing.
On the positive side, we like the fact that they're...
hold on. Stop right there.
Yeah.
No positives. That they have stats?
I'm going to say...
That's not a positive.
I'm going to say that the stats are the most detailed you're going to find in an arcade baseball game. You can play this game online.
Even though it doesn't work. Well, how can you say you can play it online, dude? The thing doesn't work.
It does work. You can get on GameSpy Arcade and play other... And I like the fact that it has online play. You can get online and play other players. We're about to talk about Tommy's favorite game of all time. This is We Heart, or We Love, Katamari.
We hate Katamari.
It's from Namco for the PlayStation 2. I loved Katamari, the first one. I love Katamari Damacy, and I love this new sequel.
Katamari Damacy.
Come on, explain the hate. Let the hate flow. Tell us all why you don't like this game.
Well, first of all, let me just start by saying is that people either love this game,
yes,
or hate this game.
Right.
There's a ton of people out there who think this is a great, addicting thing. Unfortunately for those people, I'm not giving the review for them.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what I think of the game.
Okay, well, that's why you're here.
I hate this game.
It's too complex for you, isn't it?
It's not about complexity.
There's too much sort of depth and detail.
Oh, lots of depth and rolling crap around.
Here's the deal with Katamari Damacy. For those that haven't played it, and it's very popular with gamers out there, so probably everybody knows.
Fans, I think.
But basically, what you're doing is you're collecting all kinds of junk, and you start off really small, and then you're collecting like thimbles and clothespins and stuff like that, and then eventually you start building up cats and brooms and then rakes, and then you're outside and you've got fences, and then eventually you're picking up cows and then houses and cars and then buildings and then boats and then stadiums and then skyscrapers, and it just keeps escalating.
I got to tell you what I hated the most, though.
Yeah.
See if you at least agree with me on this.
Okay.
The thing that disgusted me the most was that amazingly awful music. I cannot.
I didn't think it was awful.
Look, if you're going to sing, learn how to sing in tune, buddy. I can miss the sunshine.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about this game, though, is that they went in a whole different direction in terms of some of the different kinds of gameplay objectives that you had to do.
Well, you're rolling your balls around.
You are. You have to roll the ball around and collect the stuff, but sometimes it's more to collect specific kinds of things. Like you're in a zoo, you've got to collect as many friends, animals as you possibly can, and the more animals that you collect, the bigger it is, the more percentile it is, the bigger the star that becomes from the Katamari that you collect.
Instead of the blue one. That's not a lot of diverse gameplay.
But I also thought the environments were actually very funny. I like the zoo level, I like the school, I like the under the water level. There's crabs trying to get away from the Katamari. I mean, we've seen a lot of this stuff before, but you do get to grow this huge Katamari ball and then go after the sun.
Well, hey,
it's pretty cool, man.
If people out there love the first Katamari game,
I did.
You're probably gonna like this one. For all the people who didn't like the first one, like me, you're gonna hate this one even more.
You got to get some heart in your We Heart Katamari.
No, I hate Katamari.
I am giving We Heart Katamari an 8.5 out of 10.
My Lord.
What are you giving it?
I personally can't stand it. I like nothing about it. I'm giving it a 3.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10, and that's being generous.
Another fantastic review from my good friend Tommy Tallarico.
That's right.
On the positive side, yes, you're still collecting junk, but you get to collect junk in a whole bunch of new areas. This time the Katamaris get so big you're actually collecting planets, stars, and eventually the sun. It's very cool. And the best thing about games like We Heart Katamari, it gives us lots of great material for this show.
On the negative side, this is some of the most awful music I've ever had the displeasure of listening to. I'm sorry, but the gameplay is just repetitive. And you can disagree with me on all those other points, but this one you can't. The graphics suck.